Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Cami is off tonight. Long lines continue on day 3 of early voting here in Wisconsin. Voters enduring longer waits in some voting locations that were not seen 4 years ago. In a First Alert update, Drew Best joins us now live in the studio to tell us the main differences about this year's turnout. Drew.
Bill, high voter turnout and a slowdown in the state system that prints absentee ballot labels is contributing to the wait times we're seeing throughout the state. Appleton is one of several cities still experiencing up to an hour-long wait in the third day of in-person early voting. Political experts and history professor at Lawrence University, Joe Poder, says the high absentee voter turnout stems from Republicans making a stronger push for early voting after Donald Trump told voters to wait until Election Day in 2020, an election he lost. Poder says the high turnout bodes well for Republicans, but it does not necessarily mean more votes are swinging to Republicans this election. High voter turnout is also creating delays in label printing during in-person absentee voting. Voters in Appleton tell us they were shocked by the long waits.
We were aware of the fact there were lines. I guess this is a little longer than we anticipated. An hour pushes it, but we'll wait an hour.
I think that it's going to possibly be no problem on November 5th. Like maybe we should wait until November 5th. It's like a phenomenon. It's crazy.
A statement from the Wisconsin Elections Commission on label printing delays reads in part, quote, "No voters should be turned away due to label printing delays. The WEC is thankful to local election officials for their patience and professionalism while agency staff continue to work to improve label printing speed," end quote. Poder says nearly 500,000 Wisconsinites have already casted their vote, either in person or by mailing back an absentee ballot, saying many voters have already made up their mind on this year's presidential election. Bill?